Hey everyone, my name is Brian. After many years of building with Angular, I'm here to help you level up your skills and build better apps. When your app needs to load data, what do users see? A blank screen? A lonely spinner? Today, we're going to build something better, a smart skeleton loader, one that instantly shows your UI structure, feels fast, and transitions smoothly into real content as soon as it's ready. Using deferred loading to manage content rendering, signals to track state reactively, and animations to make the transition feel seamless. By the end of this tutorial, you'll know how to build a loader that's not just functional, but delightful. So let's get started. This is our basic app. I'll refresh it a couple of times, and you'll notice there's a delay before anything shows up. That delay is mocking the type of thing that may occur with a real API request. If we look at the code in the profile service where this data comes from, we can see why we're using setTimeout to simulate a network call. It's fake, but realistic. You could imagine this data coming from your backend or Firebase or whatever you use. Let's look at the profile card component to see how this service is implemented. Here, the component injects the profile service, and in the constructor, we load the profile if it isn't already set. This is all pretty simple and reactive using Angular signals. And over in the HTML, we've got a basic if block to conditionally render the content once it's available. So in the existing setup, we simply check if the profile data was loaded, then we load the card content. This works fine. The content only shows once the data is available. But Angular now gives us something better, deferred loading with the defer block. Think of defer as a smarter conditional rendering tool. It lets you wait for a specific condition to become true, show placeholder content while you're waiting, and optimize for lazy loading, improving perceived performance. It's perfect for API-driven content, dashboard widgets, or anything with async data. So we can simply replace the if with defer instead. Now we have several conditions to choose from to control when Angular loads and displays the content. In this case, we'll use the when trigger, which will simply trigger the content to load once the profile signal becomes truthy. This does the exact same thing as if, but now we can expand it, and that's where the power comes in. Here's what makes defer so useful. It lets us show something else while we wait, like a skeleton loader. We just add a placeholder block. Within this block, we can add markup that we want to render while we wait for the profile to load. So I'll add several divs with some classes so that I can easily style placeholder markers for each of the corresponding pieces of content from the actual card. Now Angular will render the placeholder immediately, and then swap it out only once the profile signal emits a non-null value. It's like telling Angular, don't render this part of the page until I have the data, but while you wait, show something helpful. Okay, now we just need to add some styles to make this look right, so let's switch to the CSS. Here, for our skeleton, let's add some styles for the mock avatar. And let's add some styles for the mock text label regions. Okay, this should be enough to style our skeleton markup and give us something to show while the profile loads. So let's save and see how it works. There we go. The skeleton appears instantly, and once the data is ready, the real content pops in. Huge win for the user experience already. This is quite a bit better than before, right? But I think we can make it even better. Let's level it up with animation. A static skeleton like this might make it feel as if nothing is actually happening. First, I'll remove the background color from the mock avatar and text elements. Then I'll replace this background with a linear gradient, We also need to add a background size that's larger than these shapes so that we can animate the background position. Okay, now that we have the gradient, we need to create a keyframe animation to animate it. We'll start with the gradient offset to the left, and then we'll end offset to the right. So it will slide left to right. Okay, we have the gradient and we have the keyframe animation. Let's add this animation to the mock avatar and text labels with the animation property. We'll animate this left to right transition over 2 seconds, and we'll make it loop with the infinite property. All right, that's all we need, so let's save and try it now. Look at that shimmer. Now it gives the illusion that the app is working on loading the content. Pretty slick. So this is looking pretty good, right? But I think we can still make it even better. The change between the skeleton loader and the actual content is pretty abrupt. I think it would be better to animate this transition too. But this is a little more difficult to animate. Since we have an item that's leaving the DOM and an item that's entering, we'll need to use Angular animations to handle this. In order to do this, we first need to enable animations in this application. Let's open up the main TypeScript file. Here, we need to provide the animations module to the Bootstrap application function. So let's add the providers array. Then we need to add the provide animations async method. This enables Angular's animation system, so now we can use it. Let's switch back to the profile card component. To add Angular animations, we need to add the animations array. Then we can use the trigger function to create an animation. Let's call it fade out. Then we need to add a transition with the transition function. Here, we'll select the leaving element, which will be our skeleton div. Now we can use the animate function to animate this div. First, we add the duration and easing function to use. We'll go with 500 milliseconds and ease out. Now we can add the style that we want to animate to with the style function. All we're going to do is animate to an opacity of 0. Okay, that's all we need for our skeleton leave animation, so now we can add another trigger called fade in. Then we'll add another transition, this time for the item entering. Now, this animation is a little different because we need to provide the animation starting state. So we'll add a style function. And we'll start with an opacity of 0. Now, we can add the animation for this element with another animation function. Let's use a duration of 600 milliseconds this time, and an easing function of ease in. Then we'll animate to a final style with the style function and an opacity of 1. So fade out animates when the placeholder leaves. Fade in kicks in when the real content shows up. These are lifecycle aware transitions built into Angular's animation system. Okay, now we just need to switch over to the HTML and add the animation triggers on the items that need to animate. This is the final touch, so now let's save and see how it looks. Nice. Now our skeleton fades out and the real content fades in. No jump cuts, no hard swaps, just smooth motion. Now it feels fast, feels thoughtful, and really just improves the user's experience overall. All right. You now know how to build a smart skeleton loader in Angular using deferred loading, signals, and animations. We kept it clean, modern, and pretty much boilerplate free. If you found this helpful, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe for more Angular tips and tricks. Also, be sure to check the description for the full Stack Blitz demo and other resources. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.